when you're in NXT and you're with a group like Sanity, do you see any parallels to that group versus Violent by Design? I know looking at the group, you Killian Dane and some of those guys, but replace Killian Dane with a Rhino, and I mean, real similar guys. Like, do you see any similarities between the stables from one group to the other?
Yeah, for sure. There's similarities. It's kind of like this, group of crazy people, or maniacs, heels, whatever you want to say. I think there's a lot of similarities there because of the character that I have been for the last 5 or 6 years, and I was heavily involved in the making of Sanity. It was Hunter's idea, but it was a very joint effort by me and him. Picking the music, picking, what we would look like. Like, I designed the jackets. I kind of chose the color scheme. I chose the video wall. Like a lot of the stuff, is very hands-on with that stuff. And it's, the exact same thing with Violent by Design. It was my idea, my name. The people in the group, were selected by me or approved by me. So yeah, that's not lost on me. Not everybody gets that. I've been doing this a long time, and I've definitely earned that respect. I've earned, the power to have choice. I don't get to say who wins and loses or what we do or when we do it, but I do have a say in how it's interpreted and how we come across, and how it's shown, and the story, and how we want to present it. So that was the coolest thing about NXT for me, was that I didn't know if I would get that there because I had never worked there. But right away, I think Hunter trusted me, respected my work, even though it wasn't there. It was, at a high level in other places. So yeah, I loved NXT, and but most of all, I love what I'm doing right now. I feel at 41, other than the torn ACL, I'm doing maybe the best work I've ever done in my entire career.
So let's talk COVID. I know as a chef living in Nashville, because I lived in Nashville until last summer. So I'd been up there my whole life. When everything got hit, everything shut down. Lots of layoffs in the industry. It was super tough on a lot of us. How did someone in the wrestling business handle it? I mean, like, what was 2020 like for a pro wrestler, I guess?
Yeah, I was definitely one of the people that, lost their job, but I was never unemployed, not for a day. I was definitely one of the lucky ones. And part of that is, that's years of hard work and Impact wanting me to be with them and be in the main event and be a surprise and be part of the world title picture. That's not lost on me either. That's a big deal, stepping back into a company that I haven't been part of, and kind of bypassing a lot of people. And, that's happened to me before, and I know it can sting. But I've earned that spot. I have a massive social media following. I've been on TV for over 16 years, wrestling, have wrestled all over the world at a very high level. And so, yeah, I definitely have earned it. But COVID was crazy, man. It's, it affected everybody. And it's not just in the United States, it's worldwide, and if I could erase COVID and go back and it never happened, I would do that in a heartbeat, because of, the people that we've lost. And, there's nobody in my immediate circle, but people just outside of it that have lost family members and have lost loved ones. And that sucks, but in a weird way, I'm part of this weird fraternity in wrestling that we lived through this, like wrestling didn't go away. It didn't miss a beat. It just innovated and figured out a way to present its product without a crowd. And the reality is a crowd is maybe the most important part of what we do. It's what we do is meant to be done in front of a live crowd, meant to elicit a response from a live crowd. And without it, it becomes something else. We all managed it somehow, the WWE, the AEW, Impact, ROH, everyone navigated it kind of in their own way. And it's cool, man. It's in a weird way, it's like this weird sense of pride saying, like, I was part of that, and, pro wrestling still exists. And, in my opinion, from a person that looks in sometimes from the outside, is, it might be stronger than it ever was. And sometimes it's happened to me with my ACL right now, is you don't understand how much you like something until it's taken away. And that's the feeling I think anybody that's in the business will think about crowds and being in front of live people. And for me, just wrestling, like it's only been like 4 months since I tore it, but I'm dying. Like I'm dying a slow and terrible death, just wanting to be back in the ring, man. Because it's wrestling has a lot of stuff you got to deal with outside of performing in the ring. But those 10 to 20, 30 minutes of performing in a ring with, one of your peers in front of whether it's just, video or a live audience, it can't be replaced. It's a drug, and anybody that's done it will tell you that, and it can't be replaced. There's nothing else that can give you that feeling. So yeah, it's COVID was awful, man. Awful. I lost my job at the WWE. I lost my job at The Athletic covering the NHL. So, I didn't lose anybody. No one passed away that's in my immediate circle, but I had plenty to lose, and I'm ready for it to go away.
Absolutely. I think we all are. We all know the industry as a whole is huge risk of injury. You've brought it up a few times, but how's the rehab going on the knee? Like, how's that coming along?
Yeah, it's going good. It's I was really hoping to avoid a major injury. There's nobody that keeps track of this stuff, but I haven't missed a show in 23 years. And
wow, that's impressive, man. Even
I don't know if, Jericho might be the only person that, I don't know if he's ever missed a show. Like, he's taken time off to do his band and stuff, but I don't think he's ever missed a show from injury. And like, I'm proud of that, and I was really hoping to go my whole career without a major injury. I've been hurt plenty. I wrestled with a broken ankle. I've wrestled with broken fingers, broken toes, dislocated hip, I tons of injuries, but nothing that kept me from the ring. And the ACL is a rude awakening that this is, it'll probably catch up with us all. I'm 41. I keep telling everybody I was due. It's just the fact that it was that long is pretty miraculous, really. It's part of it is, durability and how I'm built. Part of it is how well I've taken care of myself. In-ring style, I wouldn't say that I take it easy, but I've always been very calculated of when to do things that are risky and when not to. And I think everybody should be. I think it's, if you want to have a career that is lengthy, and make money, because the reality is when you first start doing this, you don't make anything, and plenty of years I was on TV where I was scraping by. I'm appearing live on national televisions in front of millions of people every week. And I got to decide whether I want to drink or whether I want to eat at night. So it's an interesting life, but I wouldn't change any of it. The rehab is going awesome. I'm about 3 months in, and it could be 3 more months. It could be 6 more months. That will be up to the doctor. If I have enough drinks, I think I could wrestle right now. But I wouldn't risk it. It's not worth it. I'm aiming for October, but that's going to be up to my leg and up to the health professionals.
So let's say, just playing, fantasy booker right now with you. You get back into it. You get back on the show. Do you want to try to jump into the title picture, go after Omega, go back for the title? Or is there somebody else on the roster that you kind of got your eyes on right now?
Yeah, I think I fit right into that story. I don't think there's any doubt. I was just world champion, a few months ago. Sure. If this wasn't happening, I think I would already be part of that story in some way or another. So yeah, that's definitely, that's what I have my eyes on for sure. That's what I want. I want the responsibility of that. I want the pressure. It has nothing to do with, notoriety. It has nothing to do with fame or, I want to wrestle in the main event because people will talk about it. I want the pressure of a company, $1 million company, putting me in that position and counting on me to deliver results. That's what I live for in wrestling. And especially nowadays, I've done 1,000 things more than I ever thought I was going to do. I've accomplished things that I never dreamed that I would. I've made money. I could retire now. And I've said this in other interviews. I've been pretty smart and have made, very good money for a very long time. And I chose to work for Impact, and I choose to keep wrestling because I want to, not because I have to. And that's a cool decision to have. I don't know. I never thought I would always have it, but that's something that I always strive for. And right now that's where I sit. I work there because I want to work there. If I didn't want to, I would just tell them I'm done, and that would be it. You would never see me again. But that's a ways off yet.
Nice. So with New Japan crossing the pond, and with the three promotions working together, what's one of those like dream matches you'd like to see once you get back on your feet and you have an opportunity, having the three rosters to look at? Like if you had to pick somebody from either promotion, like who's somebody that you'd like to see in the ring?
Yeah, I mean, the list is long. Like Tanahashi would be probably my first choice. Will Ospreay is a guy that I worked with briefly in Impact. He was in a King of the Mountain match. You know, we did a few things together, but a guy that I did a few indies with in Europe, and me and him got along really well. He is a freak, you know, just a freak. And I think our styles together could do something really special. AEW wise, obviously Kenny Omega. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any secret, you know, bell to bell, he's probably the best in the world right now. That's a moving target that always changes, but you know, probably for the last couple of years, I think, you know, in between the ropes from bell to bell, I don't think there's many people that can touch him. His mind is just in a different place. His body of work over the last couple of years has just been insane, you know, just insane. The hit rate, you know, and it doesn't matter the style or the opponent. People are talking about it, and for a reason. He is gifted, an absolutely gifted performer. Someone like Miro, we didn't get to cross paths very much in WWE. I think we did a couple things, a couple house shows, and maybe one thing on television together. But that's a guy that I love. There's, you know, it's a long list, man. Like Christian is a guy that I never really got to really do something serious with. We crossed paths a bit when he was in TNA. I think we tagged together a couple times, but I would like to do something singles, you know, with him. Frankie Kazarian, the Young Bucks. You know, the list it's vast, you know what I mean? And that's for the thing that's really cool about pro wrestling is pro wrestling always changes, but the pieces are constantly changing. And the angles that you can go at it with, and the different stories that you can tell depending on the opponent and timing and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm ready to dive right back in, man. And I think that's where I'll be. I'll be right in that mix.
Nice. Okay, so I've got to ask you a question, something that I have to claim ignorance to. Looking through some of the notes of your career, the TNA World Beer Drinking Championship. Is this as cool as it sounds? Let's talk about that.
Cooler, actually. I was paid to drink beer at work for almost 6 months. Me and James Storm were doing a thing, and he got this beer drinking title made as like kind of like a joke. And we were doing like some pretty funny segments at the time, and then we ended up feuding over this beer drinking title. And I'll be the first to admit it. You could watch the footage. I am terrible at chugging beer. I can drink a lot of beer. I can, you know, I'm 40. I haven't funneled a beer in probably 10 years, but I don't know if there's a human being on earth that can funnel a beer faster than I can. But as far as chugging, never been good at it. Never will be. Basically, I was just pouring it on myself. But A for effort. And yeah, it was super fun, man. People loved it. You know, anytime you can include drinking at work, I'm all for it. Yeah, it was, you know, 6 months of a vacation basically, where we just did these fun segments and funny bits and funny vignettes and stuff. And then, you know, we would drink beer and yeah, it's I don't know if it's prestigious, but it was something that was super enjoyable. That's for sure.
When I was looking over it, I was like, there's no way I have to ask about that. And I was like, tell me about that. Okay. As a lifelong wrestling fan, when TNA had some agreements with the NWA, you had a chance to be an NWA tag team champion. What does it feel like as a lifelong wrestling fan to carry a title? I know the NWA catches a bad rap a lot of times since once the territories broke down and stuff, but having a chance to wear the strap that so many great tag teams before had worn, what did that mean to you as a guy in the business, like to have a chance to wear that belt?
Yeah. I mean, that was, you know, the first, you know, world title that I won in my wrestling career. You know, I had won plenty of, you know, anywhere from probably 50 to 100 belts, you know, independently, but those don't count, you know, and I'm not saying it wasn't cool being a champion for Neo Spirit or, you know, one of the other 50 promotions that I was world champion for. But the reality is though, you know, they're not televised. It's not a worldwide company. It's, you know, it's local and, you know, it's cool, but it's not real. The NWA thing, like I'm on that list. If you look up the NWA World Tag Team Champions, I'm on that list and you can't erase that, you know, forever. 50 years from now, you look back in the history books, NWA, maybe it's around, maybe it's not, but the history of the NWA World Tag Team Champions, you'll see my name. And that, it blows my mind, as a wrestling fan. And I look at that with all the titles that I've won. I've won the world title twice. I've won the NXT Tag Champion. I've won the X Division twice, maybe 3 times. I can't remember. I've won the NWA or Impact or TNA tag, I think 6 or 7 different times. You can't take those things away from me. That's history. And, that's a company saying, we trust you and you've earned it. And, that stuff like that doesn't happen by mistake.
Nice. Okay. I know right now with your knee and everything, take a second, tell the fans what you've got going on right now, where they can find you online, your social media presence, all of that.
Yeah, so admittedly, I'm terrible at social media. If you say something to me and I don't respond, don't take it personally. I have a life. I'm married. I have dogs, and there'll be times where I put my phone down and I won't look at it for hours. And I know that seems foreign to some people, but to be honest, it's a leash and I hate it. Social media is part of our industry. It can be an amazing tool, but it is not something that I hold in high regard. So if you say something to me or send me a message and I don't respond, don't take it personally. It's just something I use for business. That's Eric Young, not me. I have a different real name. So anyways, the Eric Young on Twitter, the Eric Young IG on Instagram. That's basically it, man. Just doing my thing with Impact and, obviously not wrestling, but appearing on pretty much every show. They just signed a new deal with YouTube. Some of the details were trickling out today, which is super cool. There's no company in the world that has a deal like that with YouTube. We kind of did a soft launch before Slammiversary, and the numbers were insane. And YouTube jumped all over it and signed a pretty cool deal with us for us to supply that content. And I think there's 2 tiers of subscription that you can belong to. Like, as a wrestling fan, I don't know why you wouldn't, especially if you don't have access to Access TV or, you're a cable cutter. I know that's very common now. I would cut my cable, but I watch too many sports and I have to be able to watch wrestling. So that's the easiest way, but I understand the cable cutting thing. Most people are doing it and you maybe don't get access. This is a way to consume Impact, which in my opinion, it sounds biased because I work there, but it's a wrestling show made for wrestling fans, pro wrestling. It's not made for entertainment. It's not made to sell Burger King ads. It's made to entertain professional wrestling fans. And I think minute to minute, it's the best professional wrestling show on TV right now because of the freedom that we have with access.
Oh, that's awesome. Eric, I really appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us this evening, having a chance to chat about some wrestling.